Hello, my name is Lisa and I'm a dietary manager, and today I would like to work with you and show you a little bit about mechanical soft textures. And I'm going to start with some roast beef today. I've already prepared my roast beef, and these are some of the ends and pieces that I have that I'm going to use for mechanical soft texturing. I'm going to be using a RoboCoupe today because that's what I have in my facility. By far, you can use lots of different equipment pieces to mechanical soft your texture. So I'm going to start off by placing the meat in the RoboCoupe. As you can see, I've just got various size pieces of meat. Break them up as you wish, and we're going to insert them into the RoboCoupe. Going to make sure our blade is in place securely, and just add them in to the RoboCoupe. I'm adding no liquid into my RoboCoupe at this time. Make sure your lid is securely in place. You're plugged in. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to check my texture. I don't want a fine ground to powder. I just want a nice grind on my meat. I want you to be able to see what I'm getting here with my texture. Maybe you can see it better here. So this is a nice grind. You still have some moisture. There's no powder. It's going to be a nice palatable ground meat. This didn't take very long to get. We want to make sure we're evenly, consistently ground to this texture. Removing my blade, making sure I've got everything, no strings, a nice even mechanical texture to my meat. Per our food code and most of your building's policies, you're going to add some gravy to this. You don't want a powder, but you do want your meat to be even ground. And you don't want a powder, as I keep saying, because you want that moisture in your meat and you want it ground evenly, so you're not going to have any choking hazards for your residents, and you're going to have a palatable texture for them to eat. So that's your mechanical meat. Still got a lot of flavor in your roast beef, and your gravy's coming. So that's our first step to our mechanical meat. Okay. So we've got our mechanical meat, and now we want to start into some puree with that same meat. Remember, when you're using your meat, you're going to have to bring that up to temperature, and it is now a leftover. So you're going to have to bring that up to your 165, because that's the temperature for leftover meats, or any leftovers. They have to be reheated to 165. So we're going to continue now as a leftover. So we're going to take our mechanical meat, and I like to start out by adding a little gravy. This is my beef stock gravy. So I'm going to put a little bit of that into my blender. So I start with a little moisture on the bottom. I've got my mechanical meat. I'm adding that in, and I'm using about a cup of ground meat here. And this is just my roast beef. And then I'm going to add in a little bit more of my gravy. You're going to need to be patient as you're making your pureed meat, because you need to make sure that you're going to get a nice, good texture. This is going to be a little loud, and we're going to get started here. As you're going, you're going to be moving your meat and your gravy together. You're not going to be adding any water. It's okay to add a little stock or adding a little gravy to keep that consistency nice and smooth. This is a great time if you're going to be using, this since it's roast beef, if you're going to use horseradish sauce. to add in a little flavor, this would be a good time to use that. Because if you pureed meat, you know that you get a little bit of a stringy texture as it's pureeing, and that's why it's important to keep and be patient, because you need to keep adding flavor, adding moisture, and that's why you start off with about a cup of meat to make sure you're going to get enough portion for your 2-ounce portion that you're looking for. Okay, I think we have our creaminess that we're looking for. A pretty smooth puree texture. What I like to do, and you can't always do this because depending on when your resident's diet order comes in, but if you can prepare your puree a day ahead, everyone doesn't have a mold, but you can take some saran wrap, you can mold this into a bowl in your freezer. It is a leftover, so you're going to bring that temp back up to 165. You mold that and then slice it like a medallion. Then you have medallions of meat. The texture is there for your pureed meat, but it'll make a nice presentation on your plate with medallions of meat, just like you would with a nice pork or roast beef medallion in a nice restaurant, or like you're serving your roast beef medallions on your plate today for lunch. So the last thing we want to try to do is some vegetables. Fresh vegetables are perfect, and most of them you can get year-round. If you can't get fresh, go with frozen. So today we're going to do some carrots. I've got some fresh carrots, and what I did, I just took some fresh carrots this morning. I peeled them, sliced them up, put them in the steamer, and I've got some here that I've cut up that we've used kind of on the die, and then I've chopped them up into little bite-sized pieces, and this is your mechanical carrots. And all I've done is I just took them and we've just kind of made little bite-sized pieces. Nobody wants to take their carrots and put them in a food processor, a blender, a RoboCoupe. They come out this mixture of chopped and grated. That is not eye appealing, and if you're on a mechanical soft diet and you see that grated mixture, you don't really want those carrots. And that is a moist mechanical blend of a diet. So for a mechanical soft, you just need small bite-sized pieces of soft carrots. So if you put those little carrots in the steamer, soften them up, which we've done here, they're very tender, they break apart, then that's mechanical soft. So that's your first step. So we have a nice bowl of those. We're going to take these carrots and we're going to puree them. So we're going to put them on our blender. You could use your RoboCoupe, but my RoboCoupe's pretty big, so it's going to take a lot. If I have a lot of mechanical soft, then that's the way I would do it. But since I don't have a lot of mechanical soft, I don't need to do that. So with this, you're going to add them into your blender. This one you probably will need to add a small amount of moisture. You want to be careful with this again because you don't want to be adding too much water because that's going to take it away. So just keep working with them till they're good and smooth, because that's what you want, is a nice smooth consistency, no texture. And that's what you have. And the key to a good puree is to make sure that you have enough product in your blender. That's how they're going to get their nutrition. So I hope this helps today, and thank you for your time.